That's my pregame speech.
Very nice.
And you know it was a lie.
Come on now.
Which part?
Last year you have Seth in practice and Zach in practice, working with the guys, teaching the guys, kind of playing coach on the sidelines a little bit. How much different and how much nicer is it for you to actually be able to have them in uniform and put them out on the floor?
Yeah, I think the old coaches had it figured out. I think football coaches for sure have it figured out. I think the more you can redshirt guys, the better, because it's hard to quantify the growth that kids go through, not only on the floor or on the field, but also off the field. I think it's superb for them academically. I think they mature and evolve in a much more refined way. Seth is a good player. He'll be a good player throughout his career for us, just like he was at Maryland. I think it's also hard to quantify how hard it is for kids that their whole life have played to not be able to play. Zach and Seth both were mature in how they handled not being able to play. Because when you get to probably post-Christmas, there's not much of a role for them, even when you kind of try to create one. They like being scout team guys. But other than that, it's hard. I think Seth will be a coach when his career's over. I also think Zach will be a coach. There'll be two different types of coaches, but those two guys were clued in throughout the year, and I think they matured in a way that we'll benefit from. There's a little bit more unique enthusiasm from those two guys because they know they finally get to put on a uniform, and that's been healthy for the rest of our guys.
How about the enthusiasm from you that they get to put on a uniform?
Well, I've probably pre-calculated that since they arrived. I don't know on a 13-team roster, 13-man roster, that you would always want to redshirt two transfers. I think most coaches, if they would be transparent, they would say they'd like to redshirt one every year for a multitude of reasons. But considering when we took the job and what was available and trying to make good long-term decisions as best as possible, that was a big bite to be able to go through last year, knowing you got two empty scholarships for that particular season. So we hope that the investment in our program's future was the right play specific to those two, but it is much more comforting knowing that they're both eligible for sure.
Hi, you have an update on when or if Med plays this season, and also given the makeup of this year's personnel and also the new rule changes, how does that kind of factor in, what kind of offensive and defensive styles you have this year? Do you play one post player or two, all that kind of approach for this year?
Yeah. I don't have a decision on Med. I will make the final decision. I'll let he and his mom be a part of it. But I want to make a decision using the wisdom of doing this for a long period of time. If you let a kid make the decision, they always want to play. It was a partial tear, which is helpful relative to him. He hasn't been released to the court yet. He's probably 8 to 10 days ahead of where he should be. We'll have a better gauge maybe Halloween-ish, because by then he will have been on the court. He probably will not have been on the court with our team, but he will have been on the court, and he'll have his win by then. I've studied a lot of that stuff specific to knee injuries, and the probability that you injure the other knee is always really high because you overcompensate, and what you're overcompensating for is your lack of strength. And the problem with strength is it just takes time, and no matter what you're trying to do, it's hard to replenish. As soon as they open your knee up, your quad literally goes dead. Like you can't even fire your quad. So Med is as consistent and as diligent of a worker as I've ever been around in my career. That bodes well for him. But it'll probably be a game time decision on whether or not we redshirt him. there's probably a little bit of give in the timing of it, maybe Thanksgiving-ish. But I think if you get into finals week, I don't think that, right now, I don't feel comfortable that I would want to play. But it's just too early to be able to have much more of an answer than that. On your second question, I think you're right. I think coaches are paranoid. I think coaches overthink. And I think you'll see distinctly different styles of play on both ends of the floor, particularly in the first semester. I think some of it will calm down Christmas. I don't know what the right answer is, though, Berman. And I don't know that you could, we've watched and studied a lot of those European teams that play with that clock, that play with those types of rules. I think the only person that I said anything to about this was Teal back in the spring. I think the push from the coaches that pushed this and the media that pushed it, I think they're wrong. I think what they think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be that. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I disagree. But considering the work that we have ahead of us, I don't ever want to use the microphone to talk about things that of that nature. But I do think that it'll change the style of play. Coaches can't call timeouts anymore. I think that is an impact. There's no 5-second call anymore. I think that's an impact. When a kid calls a timeout on a loose ball scrum or they're falling out of bounds, if it's 30 seconds, prior to a media, that counts as the media. Because it's a shortened clock, or you're going to see a lot of soft pressure in the full court. I think so, particularly initially. Is it going to turn into more ball screens than ever before? I think so. Will it turn into more bad shots? For sure. Are the officials going to call it the way they're supposed to call it? I think initially, yes. Will the veteran officials try to carry that in conference play? I think so. Will some of the younger officials have the audacity to call it the way it's supposed to be in January and February? I think that's yet to be determined.
An idea about what's expected of you as a leader coming into your second season, and how much you're expected to grow?
Yeah, because there, I was one of the older guys, kind of weird, but I was kind of an older guy, being 19, but I had to be more vocal. And that's something I wasn't doing last year. I wasn't vocal. I looked up to guys, but now here, guys are kind of looking up to me. And I kind of got to spread my words around to help them.
What would you have done if you didn't get that call back to get on the plane and get back?
Probably hit the gym the next day
Right.
with my brother, my father, but I don't know, probably just enjoy family time at home.
Right. So when you got the call back, was the call to get back to, what was it, Colorado Springs? Or
Yeah,
where?
it was a practice.
Okay.
I got off the flight, we went straight to like a scrimmage, and I thought I wasn't going to play a lot, but I ended up playing like a lot of that scrimmage, and I was like, man, I was all jet lagged and stuff like that.
Right.
But it was fun.
Right. Yeah. Cool. So was the whole experience, it kind of goes without saying that the whole experience was worth it, but as from a playing standpoint, did you get much out of it? Just because, again, I'm sure probably out of practice more than anything else, and working with that level of players.
Yeah, it was worth it a lot because just playing against the top guys from different countries and seeing how all of them can play like for instance, like the pick and roll. Like they all know how to play that pretty well, and their defense is something different. But it was really neat to see something different from other countries, but still effective as us.
Right.
Yeah.
Camp is behind you.
Yes,
what were your thoughts on that? Was it everything you had heard it would be going into it?
Yeah, it was intense. We pulled together well as a team. It was 6 days straight work. We had 2 days off, and I think we handled it really well. We attacked a lot of days well, and it kind of showed us what our team was actually made of.
You look like you took a big step up in your game your senior year of high school, as opposed to your past years. You had good years your first couple of years, but your numbers went up a whole lot as a senior. Was that you just gaining more experience, just taking it to the next level, being more of a leader on the team?
I mean, yeah, I was pretty much the only senior on my team my last year. Since I had a lot more experience than my younger guys, they kind of relied on me to pretty much lead the way and show them what to do. And I think my senior year kind of like averaged out with scoring and leadership and assists and all that.
What's the biggest adjustment you've had to make so far at the college level?
It hasn't really been that big of adjustment. I mean, I've been playing at a high level in high school. I think the one thing possibly that was the biggest thing was the speed change a little bit. But my teammates have been helping me get through that. It's been going well.
Do you have any expectations about playing time or getting on the court, or do you have kind of any thoughts about how much you might see the time?
Absolutely not. I just here to do whatever it takes for my team to win. Pretty much, I mean, I think we're a really balanced group of guys, and we have a great team, so put the pieces together and we can do something special.
Do you have any, it's kind of a weird question, do you have any weird buzz stories yet? Because I know he's kind of a different guy, and I know it's,
I wouldn't say any weird stories. I mean, he's the same guy that I met when he was recruiting me in high school, and that's one thing I like about him. He hasn't changed a bit.
When you signed with Virginia Tech, what was the message that he sent you? What eventually sold you on coming to play basketball here?
Just his thought process. He thought different than a lot of other coaches, and pretty much his vision of what he had to bring to Virginia Tech from Marquette kind of like touched me and my family, and the relationship he made with my parents and myself was pretty much overall like good. So.
Did you meet him when he was at Marquette?
No, he started recruiting me the day he got the job at Virginia Tech. So.
Expect from you guys in terms of, how much better should this team be in year two of Buzz Williams' tenure?
Well, our physical appearance is way different, and I think we'll make a big jump. I think we'll surprise people, and I think people are still sleeping on us.
Shane Henry's a guy that has completely transformed his body. What have you seen from Shane's work?
Oh yeah, Shane's put in a lot of work. In 1 year, he probably has the biggest transformation in the whole Virginia Tech basketball team. So I'm excited to see what he does. He's still working, of course, and I'm just excited to see how he handles it.
There's a wall of shame up there. Are you on there at all?
I think I was on there once.
For what?
Well, it's mainly for workouts, and like if you had an off week, then you're automatically on the wall of shame and stuff like that. So I think I was on there for my off week.
Okay, so nothing too
crazy, yeah.
Is an off week just not busting it hard enough?
No, an off week is kind of like you get to rest your body, focus on academics, and we were here for both summer sessions, so we allowed some of us to go home if we were allowed to, and if we had a car on campus and everything, we were allowed to do that.
How much smoother has the summertime and all that stuff been this year, knowing kind of what Buzz looks for, what his words mean, and just kind of knowing his program, having been through it for a year?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot smoother. I know what to expect. I know how to handle things, and I know how he acts, and I know how this pretty much the summer was going to go, and I just was looking forward to putting in some work and getting better and improving my game, and also helping my teammates out with whatever they needed. And getting a head start on academics is a big part too, so I like that.
And having Seth and Zach able to play now this year. I mean, last year you guys kind of went to the season like a mash unit. You didn't have enough guys, and you weren't big enough, and all that stuff. How much nicer is it to have some depth and stuff this year?
Well, our physical appearance is way different than last year, and having some depth is definitely going to help us, not hurt us at all. And last year we were definitely kind of short, so I think having the depth will just be a positive for us.
Jen, how have you been able to improve your game individually the most? What kind of aspect have you been able to work on?
A little bit of everything, honestly. I tried to just sharpen everything and add new pieces to my game this summer, and I definitely got stronger, definitely got more confident, and coming into season 2, I feel I just feel better. Like I just feel more confident. I feel ready mentally, and I think that's a big part of my game too. Like if I play with confidence, I think I would play a little bit better than, of course, if a person wouldn't have confidence. But I just feel comfortable going into year 2.
Buzz talked about how he needs more leadership on this team, and do you think that you're a guy that can kind of fill that role?
For sure.
How do you think you can fill that?
Leading by example and being definitely more vocal. I've been through a whole year with him, so I know what he expects, and I know what he wants to see and everything like that. So definitely me being more vocal to the new guys, even the transfers, even though they may be older, they don't know exactly what he expects and what he likes. So me being a little bit more vocal could definitely help. So
It seemed like you made a big jump in the second half of the season, and like you kind of assumed that kind of a lead guard role. Do you think you can keep doing that this year?
For sure.
And like do you think you'll be playing more 2, or maybe even slide to the 3 and some small ball? Or
funny you said that. I kind of consider myself as a combo guard, 1, 2, or 3. So whatever Buzz wants me to play, that's what I'll play, and I'll do it to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Jalen.
Watch how I could play in the offense and what we would do when we have a new team, because we have like a whole different team. So I mean, sitting out was hard, but being that cheerleader, like he says, and just try to be someone who the guys can go to that's not a coach.
Since you were one of the guys that had experience against ACC guys and played in the ACC and all that, did you have sort of a role as far as providing scouting reports for even Buzz and some of the assistant coaches, just because you'd seen some of these backcourts?
Yeah.
Not to mention some of your teammates who were freshmen. I mean, a lot of them.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Yes. So
How valuable was that?
We play a lot of teams, and I remember things that about teams that that we scouted, or like game plan that you would say, and coach is good. He listens. He puts it in. He tells everybody, because playing I'm more comfortable playing this league than like the freshmen were last year. So if they're asking like, how did you do this against them, or they're doing this on this ball screen, like how do you do that? And there's ways to get around everything.
You obviously were frustrated by having to sit out, but how much smoother has your transition into, and I know you practice and stuff, but how much smoother do you feel like your transition has been into the team, as a player now, instead of just somebody who was going to wear nice clothes during the game?
Yeah. Well, I think I did a good job of transforming better than I thought. I thought it was going to be harder, but they're helping me through it. Coach stays on me every day. So he doesn't let me slack a bit. So I just been going as hard as I can, and it's just getting me better in the process.
You seem to enjoy the mentoring part of your job last year, though, with so many young guys, and I guess it probably felt like you were investing in your future too, because if these guys get better last year, when they're your teammate again, you're going to benefit from that too.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I told Justin that today, like I just see myself in them, because when I came to college at 17, he just turned 18 today. So I remember just being clueless and having my big brothers or my older guys teaching me, and it helped tremendously. Like coming off ball screens, I used to always get hit, and then they would tell me tips, and then I was good off of down screens, guarding. So those little tips from an older guy just gives you more confidence to play with them. It just helps great.
How much are you guys having to prop up Ahmed right now with what he's going through with the knee?
I mean, Med's pretty jolly himself. When it first happened, he was down, and everybody was here around him. Hey, we prayed for him a lot. But now, like you can see, he's smiling, joking around. He's good. He's recovering faster than he thought he would, but he's just going at it every day, going at it 4 times a day sometimes. So trying to get back as soon as possible.
Does he have bad days as far as, the guy doesn't even know when he's going to be able to get back out here again. It's just sort of a unknown. is there...
I think that would be better for him.
Yeah.
Rather than...
I didn't know if you saw him in practice or...
Oh, no. He's been the same Med every day. And, that's all, you got to give him a lot of credit, because that was unexpected and injuries suck. I've been through injuries, and I told him that, but he'll be back stronger and even better.
Zach, you remember the last year where you didn't play basketball? Before sitting out last year?
No. Probably like when I was like a little kid before I started playing, like 6.
That's probably like a big time lifestyle change, really. Actually, not being actively involved in games and things like that.
Yeah, it was a big time lifestyle change, but I really just lived in the gym and just tried to just be a leader to these young guys and just help them and just stay in their ear about certain things and bring my experience and mix it with their young new talent. So,
watching from the bench last year, you clearly know that rebounding was an issue for this team, and is that how you feel like you can make the biggest impact this year in your first year on the court?
For sure, rebounding and just getting everybody to play hard. And when you just play hard, rebounds just fall into your hands. You just get in there and you just get rebounds and you get in the mix and you get in the scuffle, get on the floor, stuff like that. So just getting everybody to play hard, play defense, and rebounding should take care of itself if we play hard. So.
Describe your journey to Virginia Tech a little bit. Transfer from South Florida. How did you get on Virginia Tech's radar, or how did Virginia Tech get on your radar?
I'm from Dallas, Texas, so I got recruited by Steve Rockeford, and he recruited me since I was like 16. I've known him, and I went to USF with him and stuff like that. And he knew Buzz. He's like Buzz and him are like family. So that tie right there just leads to everybody in Dallas. Everybody in Dallas knows who I am a lot, like a lot of coaches and stuff. And they all know Buzz because Buzz is from Texas too. Both of them are from Texas. So it just really just tied in back to everything. And I just came here with Coach Rock. And as soon as Coach Rock said that he was just like Buzz, that Buzz was just like him, I didn't even have to take a visit. I already knew this was the place I wanted to be. So.
Kind of see yourself as going forward?
As the scout said, I feel like I can play multiple positions on offense and defense. I feel like that would be a great skill set, and just trying to help my team win whatever they need.
What have you learned the most here in these first couple weeks with Buzz? What have you learned the most about basketball, about your game in these first couple weeks?
What I've learned the most about just life in general is never assume anything, and from basketball you just have to go hard every day because we're not just competing against each other in practice, we're competing against the world.
How is Buzz different from most coaches that you've dealt with? I mean, he's a different kind of cat, it seems like.
I say he's not much different than my high school coach, very animated and very energetic. Wants to win, will do anything to win. Just is a great guy and wants to do the right things.
What was boot camp like? Was it everything you had heard about going into it?
It's everything I heard about. I just didn't expect it would be to that magnitude. A lot of running, but I felt like it was good because it brought our team together. A lot of team bonding stuff.
Did you lose weight during that whole experience?
I lost about 2 pounds.
Oh, so not much at all. Okay. So everybody talks about, especially with the freshmen, like you got to muscle up and gain weight to get through ACC play, especially as a wing. Do you feel like you're at an ideal weight, or do you feel like there's not much you can do about it now? Because I don't know if there's
I don't feel like I'm as big as I should be right now, but I also I would say like my endurance is probably at the top of like all the other freshmen in the ACC, right. So I feel like I should be fine. Okay. I don't feel like I'm weak.
So you make up for it being able to run the floor, I guess, nonstop. Huh? So if you lost 2 or 3 pounds, you like what, 202, 203, somewhere around
205, 207.
Okay.
What's your height
to be at? What would you like to be at?
Like overall, like
weight-wise, you said you're probably not quite as big as you'd like to be eventually, but
this season I was trying to. Well, in the summer I was around like 210, but I guess around there. I don't want to be like 225.
Okay, so you're pretty close.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
So I know you're here now, but did you ever look at that stuff at Tennessee after you decommitted and think you were pretty lucky to avoid it?
Yes. Not every day, but I think about it a lot. Very blessed to get out of that situation and start over here.
Did you hear anything about that beforehand, or did it just was it just kind of happenstance that you left and then
sort of heard about it through the grapevine?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to believe it because that's the school I picked at first, but it was true. So
yeah.
So this is you felt like this is a pretty soft landing spot, I guess, after that whole experience, huh?
Yeah. It's a great school. I can't wait till we play. I feel like it's going to be a lot of hype around this because we finished last year at the bottom, but I feel like we should have a great season this year.
After you commit to Tennessee, and then, do you feel like you're kind of – it's not as if Tech wasn't going to take you after that, but did you feel like you have to come crawling back at all,
I felt like that sort of because Tech and UConn were the only schools that kept like in contact after after I committed, which made me feel like they actually cared about me and was just like loyal staff. So that's why I picked between them two for my when I decommitted.
Yeah. Okay.
A basketball player in these first couple weeks with Buzz?
Learned about myself. I gotta play with high energy every single day. Like just come in and compete, and like I feel like I've been seeing a lot of results from that. Just coming in, competing, like getting better every day.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
What sold you on Virginia Tech and the recruiting process?
I just fell in love with Coach Buzz and like the system, and I really liked the guys that were here when I came on my visit. I just love the culture that we have here. Like it's really hard to like be a Hokie right now. So I like the culture.
You look like you've added some size since you signed with Virginia Tech. How tall are you right now, and what's your weight?
I'm like 6'10" and a half, and I'm like 235.
Okay. If you watched any of the Tech games last year, you know that size and rebounding was an issue for them on the inside. Do you feel like you're ready to step right in and fill that big void that they lacked last year?
Yeah, I just want to help the team in whatever way I need to, and I feel like the guys that they had last year have gotten a lot better. So like we're just gonna be rotating, and the energy will just be high all the time.
How was boot camp, and what was it everything you heard about going into it?
It was a learning experience for sure. Aside from like just the running, it's like it goes way further than that. Like it builds our team. And I see that now. I see a different side of myself, and I see a different side of the guys here. So it was a very great learning experience.
Do you have any experience going